Welcome back to Let's Play Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap. So, now that we have Hawk Girl... Yeah. Now that we have Hawk Girl, we can actually go about progressing effectively towards the end of the game. Before we do that, though, there's a lot of other things we're going to want to do. The first of which is getting our next heart container. Hey! So you may recall this being where we came up here and broke these blocks here in order to get a shop. You know what, as long as I'm up here. Over here, you can only get two with Hawk Girl. And we have the Heavenly Shield. How would Wisps of Cloud defend against anything? And a key. We're gonna need keys, so it's good to get a key. Little burbs. See that chest down there? We've seen it a couple times. We'd come up here as Piranha Girl. And we'd hop down here to go to the beach. Now, one thing of note is, as Hawk Girl, we can't swim, and we really don't like water. So if we jump in that water, we take damage like we were in lava. It's bad news. So just don't do it. But that is our 7th heart. Yeah. That was almost painful. So now that we can fly around and pretty much go wherever we want to, we can fly around and go pretty much wherever we want to. I'm not exactly sure what you expected me to say. I mean, that's exactly what we can do now. Except that I'm going to change offer. Because despite how fantastic Hawk Girl is, for this next very tiny bit, I need Mouse Girl. Because now that we have all of the hearts, our next goal is to be getting all of the equipment. You can see here there are, wow, 5 swords we don't have, 2 shields, and 2 armors. And an amount of that we can get right up here. May remember the crystal set being up here. And I can now afford it. I spent a fairly large amount of time grinding money. But you don't say anything for the other 2. So, crystal armor, crafted out of elegant tangerine quartz. Crafted out of fancy red jasper. Crafted out of fashionable red tourmaline. So yeah, crystal stuff. So I farmed a lot of money, and I did that. If you really hate yourself, you can go to the far western side of the desert and go in and out of the Sphinx and kill that one guy. Whoops. Kill the one guy right there waiting. Like the spear guy right there. That's probably the fastest way to make money, but it's also the most mind-numbing and makes you hate life. What I did instead was I changed to Lion Girl, and just went down here into Lion Girl's section. And I pretty much just ran back and forth between the start and the temple. What? I started questioning how efficient that was on money after a time, so I ended up near the end only going back and forth on this first little bit here. I just kill these couple snakes, a couple bats, change screens here, and then just turn right around and just do that one screen over and over again. But aside from explaining how I make money, you may be wondering why I'm down here. And that's because there's something I forgot. Stupid bats. Now, the reason I stopped going this far when farming money is because these blue bats don't give any extra money beyond the green bats, or any other enemy down here for that matter. But they do take 2 hits, and are generally time-consuming and annoying to deal with. And I'm going the wrong way. No, the reason I'm going down here, though, is actually because I missed something, as I think I was starting to say before. As soon as I'm done killing everything, I can speak briefly on this. And that's, you may recall right here, there's this broken health sign and a hidden shop, if you want to go in and actually get healed. Now, in the original, there was no indication of this. It just happened to be here. So I had assumed, I remembered that there was a shop hidden here. And I was fairly confident it was not... Jerk. You jerk! I was fairly confident it was not a health shop. A nurse. But... since they gave you an indication of the nurse, I assumed they would give you an indication of the actual shop. They did not. And since they did not, I assumed that when I was trying to remember back to a shop that existed, I was merely remembering back to the nurse, and not an actual shop. And as it turns out, no, there was actually an actual shop. And it was not indicated with the broken sign. It was right here. The Tasmanian Sword. Remember how much trouble I had against the Shogun Dragon, or the Daimyo Dragon? Daimyo Dragon, that was it, right? As it turns out, if you use this sword, your life gets a lot easier against him. You see a lot of the other ones do still get a reasonable amount of attack, like 190 is that. I think I was using the Shogun Blade or something. 165 is still a lot, but it says plus special. Now, off the top of my head, it doesn't actually tell you what the plus specials are, but I'm willing to bet it just does really good against Japanese crap. I don't know, like ninjas and crap and samurai. So it probably would have done really well against the Daimyo Dragon specifically. Kind of a jerk move, a little bit, that they put something that was effectively required to beat that boss behind a door that had no indication and was otherwise completely invisible. You would never know the door was there. Tired of your crap? So, well, whatever. That's that mess. Now we're gonna work our way back to town because we still have a lot more to do as soon as I'm done dealing with these stupid bats. I did it. I made it. I'm past them. Alright, so as long as we're down here, there's also something else I missed. Which is in this block, if I can hit it, in this room. I came in here, but I never bought this. I couldn't tell you why, I just didn't. It's also really friggin' powerful. So that's cool. So that means we're actually missing only a single sword, or 2 swords, a single shield, and a single piece of armor. Wrong hole. Now, the story behind the armor, and the armor shield and one of the swords is going to be fairly simple. And fun! Because we get to turn back into Hawk Girl. And we can go somewhere now that we were completely unable to go to before now. And that's across this, over here. Back to the ruins of the castle from the intro. Yep, that's castle. That's a pretty beaten, busted, broken down castle. Like over here. There's a door! With the legendary shield! So we can't actually go back in here, but you may recall I did buy that key. Which lets us back in the front door. I'm gonna real quick change my armor and crap around to something that is really good for Hawk Girl. Let's see here, 104. Do we have anything that's better than 104? 130. I think the Heavenly Shield is hands down the best. 120. Oh. Legendary's darn close. But, so 63. And 75, but this one has plus special. I think this one gives additional defense against, like, undead. Okay, there. We're reasonably equipped. Oh, that's cool. The place is actually busted down and broken. Oh, and full of dead things. Can't just be that way. Here I am examining how the foreground and the background looks, and you just show up throwing spears at me? Hey, you come back here. So by running through this place... Oh, there. Jeez, you've got a lot of life. There, I did it. So by running through this whole place... Oh, that place is still... Door's still locked. I'll say the right word at some point. Hey, we got the key. Well, I'm not gonna go in that way. I'm gonna go back this way. Gotta check out where we fought the boss. Mecha Dragon. Oh, you guys are rough. For being the throwaways, like the Mega Man respawning dudes. Rude! The legendary sword! So what's this, 130? 185! Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Still take 2 hits. But who cares? I have the Sword of Legends. Nothing can... Holy crap, there's 3 of them. Fudge those guys. The Sword of Legends, able to fell even the strongest foe. Wow. Guy goes down so fast now. And I got another key. Oh, interesting. Alright. Alright, alright, I can get behind that. Okay, so we gotta go in here. Hey, hey. Hey. Okay, so we're still missing the legendary armor. And to be perfectly honest, I don't actually remember exactly where to get it. Except it's right there. I knew you got it in here, but okay, 75, 100. So the legendary armor is going to be pretty much the best crap for everybody, except in the odd situation where there is a character-specific piece, like the Heavenly Shield, that is really good for Hawkgirl, that is better. But otherwise, that's it. We are sold. And we have, on top of that, eat scrap. Ha 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 ha, guy. And we're free! Yep. Yep, that's a broken down castle. Alright, so now we have we have all the hearts, we have almost all of the armor. However, something interesting to note about that is in this game, or I should say in the original Wonder Boy 3, there were 10 swords, as there were 10 shields and 10 armors. However, one of the swords you got was the Thunder Sword. The Thunder Sword was a crappy sword. It did effectively no damage to anything. However, it gave the special effect of being able to break those brown blocks with any sword. So all you had to do was get the Thunder Sword, and it doesn't matter what other sword you had equipped, you could still break those brown blocks. Well, they got around that in this game by just giving you the Thunder Ring, because let's face it, that sword effectively worked like an equipable item and not a sword. So since the Thunder Sword in this game functions as a Thunder Ring, which makes a lot more sense, what of this 10th sword? Well, there's an interesting tale behind that one. Something else that was in the original games was charisma. Charisma is not present in this game. Now, charisma was affected by a number of things, such as which character you were playing as, which equipment you had, well, equipped, and how many stones you had collected. So you could continue collecting those stones and eventually just get more or get more crap. So even if a character, even if a character with armor didn't have the charisma to buy something, if you got enough stones, you would. And the stones dropped from everywhere. They dropped as part of the regular enemy item drop thing alongside magic and stuff, and you just amassed them over the course of the game. So at the end of the game, you had a lot of charisma. Now the charisma let you buy things from shops. And many, many items were gated behind charisma. You'd often go into a shop and see nothing but question marks, because you've got no charisma. You can't even see the item to buy. This game did away with that, except for this right here. So with enough charisma, we can buy this. And by the way, this is exactly what it looked like in Wonder Boy 3. Any item that you didn't have the charisma to buy, or charm to buy, showed up like this in the shops. It'd show you the price in red, and you'd be unable to buy it until you had the charm for it. So since charm has all but been removed from this game, the individual characters don't have a base charm, your equipment doesn't have a base charm, and there's not even anywhere for a stat of charm. The only remaining thing are the stones. And as you may have guessed, the stones do not drop from regular enemies and cannot be found in random chests strewn throughout the land. No, they have to be found in very specific ways. We've got one already, and there's a few more to get. Until next time, everyone, our next goal is going to be getting a lot of charm.